Well, all right. Check one, check one, check one. Coming in hot this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's really going on? Microphone check 1 2 1 2.
Microphone checker.
Microphone check.
Is this thing on?
There you go. There you go. I can hear you.
Hey, but can you feel me?
What's happening, y'all? There we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's happening? Pops gives us a good morning, good Monday morning, Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, First Sky Squad and fam. Mad
Squad.
love from Las Vegas. What's going on, Pops?
Man, from Vegas with love.
There you go. Got a good morning from Miss Wanda Lewis. What's happening, Miss Wanda Lewis? Brother Valentine says, morning, fam. Leia Keister says, making it a marvelous Monday. Hope everyone has a fabulous weekend. That's what's going on. Josh Tays gives a happy top of the week to y'all. What's going on?
Man,
kind
of feels like the week. Feel like the weekend flew by, man.
Oh yeah, it definitely did. It definitely did that.
Man,
I don't even remember it. It just happened.
Yeah.
How was y'all's weekend? Let us know. Let us know. Chad Chimers up early with us this morning. What's going on? Yep. Don't got my date up. Where's the date at? Monday, September 19th.
Hey.
2D2D2.
Already, man. It's about to be October.
Man.
Wasted no time bringing out the Halloween stuff.
Nope. But guess what the weather's doing today? You ain't never gonna believe it. You might believe it.
Yeah. It's Omaha.
Yeah. 92 degrees today is supposed to get up to.
Really?
For no good reason, but Omaha.
Man. We all know that's last of a dying breed, so, enjoy it while you can.
Lord have mercy. What's happening, Vaughn Chapman? Good morning. Good morning with some sunshine. Brooke Allen says good morning. What's happening, Brooke? What's going on this morning? I am here. Barely, but I'm here. Live from the Covoid. Live from the Covoid still, for sure. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Once again, just letting people come on in the room. Thanks for getting up early with us this morning, Monday, September 19th, 2022. A fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. How you feeling over there, buddy?
I'm all right, man. It was kind of a long weekend. Had a 13-hour work day on Saturday.
Okay, trying to be like me, huh?
Man, had to deal with some car issues on Sunday. 30-minute trip turned into a 6-hour trip. So, that was interesting.
Yeah, it's no good.
No good, man. No good. Dang on radiator hose bursted on me at the mall.
Yeah, that's when you've been hanging out with old heads fixing cars. Dang on thing busted on me.
Man, it was so bad, actually. I got pulled over.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. My first of all, I'll just let y'all know, man. Raggedy cars, hoopty crew, still rolling. My check engine light is on, which means I can't get my tags until I fix my car. That's the Georgia law. Yeah, that's the Georgia law. And I gotta fix both my catalytic converters, which is gonna be like $2,000.
Hey, at least you got one.
Hey, I might need to find somebody to go get me one.
Make some calls out here in Omaha.
Yeah. Go ahead and grab me some catalytic converters. I'll send you the part code.
They got everybody. They got everybody's converters out here.
And I'm thinking like, hey, if Listen, if a crackhead can take a catalytic converter in the night, man, why they gotta charge me $500 to take mine off, man? Just slip it off.
20
Just slip it
$20.
off.
$20.
Man. So long story short, got pulled over because of my tags, but my car was smoking so bad. The officer was like, look like you got bigger problems, man. Just be careful and get your tags fixed.
Bro, when the police feel sorry for you.
Man. Yeah, it was
Wow.
bad. It was bad. It was a long weekend.
Wow. Well, tell us about your long weekend. Let us know what's going on with y'all. How the things go with you. Hopefully better than Buddy's story on that car.
Man, yeah, man. But my Saturday was quite nice. Kind of, was giving you updates as it was going.
Very true, very true. Yeah, man. Fox Soul in the house, man. Like who
Man, yeah,
is
yeah.
anybody
Got a
watch
got
Fox Soul?
Yeah, let us know. Let us know. Specifically a show called Commutation. If you're not familiar with it, definitely go check it out. I've actually been working behind the scenes on that show with the production crew. And yeah, man, Fox Soul.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Rose Reviews in the chat says he's over there on YouTube. Appreciate you guys on YouTube as well. To put the question bluntly, maybe your feet's deformed. They should slap you in the teeth with when you put your dancing shoes on. You can't dance. That's
What is it? What is that from?
I can't remember. It's very familiar though, but that's funny. Uh,
Must have two left feet.
yeah. I mean, you really can't dance if your feet slapping you in the teeth when you're dancing. Anyway, good morning to you, Brother Rose Reviews. Appreciate you. He's probably rolling. Listen to some tunes,
Oh man.
sharing some lyrics. That's what's up. Oh, LL Cool J. Okay. Oh,
Hmm.
I remember now. As soon as he said it. Yeah. Okay. That's what's up. Straight up, man. Old school. You got the old school rap going on early in the
Yeah.
morning on Monday. That's what I like.
It's,
I like that.
it's a little before my time. It's a little before my time.
Yep. 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 Join the old heads crew. That's where all the good lyrics is at. What's going on?
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to everybody that got up so early this morning. Thanks for coming on in. If you're on Facebook, do us a favor and share the show. Share the show so we can get as many people in the conversation as we can today on this Monday, September 19th, 2022. Appreciate that. Leia Keister said, I got to Culture House at the event. It was awesome. Thanks for promoting it. Thanks for going.
Nice. What was it? The art battle or was it the comedy show? Which one did you make it to?
Yeah, they had some heavy stuff going on last
Yeah,
weekend for
man.
sure. I got a couple people called me and said they were going to the art battle. Wondered if we were going to be there. Of course, I can't make it. I'm still COVID, so
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
heard it went off. It was like people from different parts of Omaha that wouldn't normally hang out together. Told me that they were going to participate in the art battle. So that's what's up.
Man, that's what it's about. Bringing the community together. And actually, speaking of that, we are working on some things behind the scenes to have my man Marcy come on more regularly to keep us up to date with everything going on with Culture House. So yeah, definitely shout out to the fam. Shout out to the
There you
squad.
go, man. Shout out to y'all on YouTube right now. Spread the word over there too. I guess it's growing. Thanks
Yeah,
to
man.
friends over there at YouTube. So appreciate you. Also, we're live on Twitter right now too. If that's more your speed, we don't really get anybody in from Twitter though. So I don't know if anybody would be watching over there, but there's still a lot of Twitter activity going on with all the news channels, and we've been ramping up a little activity too, just kind of retweeting some stuff, tweeting out some headlines, and so on and so forth. So check us out on Twitter for skyomaha.com. And yeah, and all of you, everything that's going on with you guys, we always like to promote those things too. So if you have things that you want to promote, just go to Friends of First Sky Omaha and drop them there. That's kind of where we review that just about every day, man. Now we got to. So that's what's up. So again, welcome to this Monday morning. It's feeling like a Monday to me already, but you know,
Man.
appreciate you guys getting up, chipper, bright, early with the hellos. It's very nice.
Yeah. We need the energy, man. Especially from my man Paul B. Definitely get well soon, bro.
Thanks, man. Whew, yeah, appreciate that. Definitely gonna hit
Yeah.
the doctor up this week. See what's going on.
Yeah, man. It's still real out here, y'all. So definitely take care of yourselves, especially for those of you hitting up events and things like that. Just be careful. Be
I
careful.
just heard, as a matter of fact, Biden just announced that we're out of the pandemic. I just saw that on a news piece, and I got news for Biden. No, we're not. The person that's sitting here with it right now.
Right. Like, how do you make that designation? What is the measuring? Like, what are the metrics that you look at to be like, oh, okay, it's over?
Yeah, some numbers. It's dropped down below some numbers. So, he's like, the crisis is over. Okay. Yeah, which one? Which variant exactly? What is it? Anyway, we all know that what we got to do. So it's just is what it is.
Yeah, man.
Medicine song in the chat. Peace Kings. Today is the day. Say his name. Ernest Jackson. Rally starts north of state capitol at 11. Hearing starts at 1. Yo, mucho healing vibration. Thank you very much for that, and thank you for the package too. I really appreciate it. God, man, I got good friends with some healing packages, so I really appreciate that. And yeah, that's gonna be the first thing on the list, man, that we're gonna talk about today is the hearing that's coming up at 1. Definitely need some bodies down there to represent, and it looks like they're gonna get together at 11 first, out there first, and then you know what I'm saying. Then hopefully the 1 o'clock hearing will go well, and fingers crossed on that one, man. Prayers up. So we'll see what's going to happen. Today's the day. If you guys have been a part of letter writing and anything to try to help this situation out, then thank you. Appreciate that. And if you can make it out there today in Lincoln, then definitely show up. We need some bodies in the house for sure.
Man, definitely need some bodies in the house. Speaking of bodies in the house, actually, we will not be having our usual guest from our media partners on today. Was not able to lock that down. But we will be talking about actually this article, as Paul mentioned. We will actually be kicking off the show with this. But yeah, big shout out to our partners over at Flatwater Free Press, Natalia Alamdari and Matt Hansen for putting together this article. So if you're not familiar with the Ernest Jackson story, they lay it out pretty good to kind of keep you up to date as far as what's going on with that situation from the incident in 1999 all the way up to today. So we'll definitely be talking about that article. And a big shout out to everybody who helped out with the letter writing and all the events and things leading up to this day. So we'll talk about that. And just side note, man, hopefully the whole pardons board will show up.
Ooh, yeah. Good point.
Yeah, man. So we'll definitely be talking about that. Also, today we have some news about prisons. Governor Ricketts recently selected an interim Nebraska prison director after news broke that Scott Frakes will be stepping down from his position. So we'll sort of dive into that. Also, again, big shout out to State Senator Terrell McKinney. Brother McKinney, put some respect on his name, who is again pushing for the release of this Brady list. And again, we'll dive into that situation, what the Brady list exactly is and what to expect from some of these moves. Again, this is coming on the heels of news that Chief Schmaderer has been in just the Nebraska or the Omaha Police Department in total has been elevating, rewarding officers who should possibly be fired. So yeah, we'll definitely be diving into that situation. Also, this is something we've been looking at very closely, talked about. Shout out to Brother Von Chapman, who called it Section 8 vouchers are increasing, but not keeping up. Again, definitely people on welfare and things like that being outpaced by rent. So we've seen that again happening around the country, and now that's starting to happen right in our own backyards. So we'll definitely dive into that situation. Also, speaking of backyards, the GOP just dropped a bunch of migrant transfers in the backyard of Martha's Vineyard, man. We definitely got to talk about this situation, especially, giving a shout out and giving light to our migrant and immigrant population in Omaha. Again, Omaha has the largest population of South Sudanese immigrants. So, yeah, we'll definitely talk about that and more throughout the show. As always, if there's anything on your hearts, your minds, that we're not discussing, feel free to drop into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. And, of course, big shout out to all the chat chimers, all the friends of, again, if you're not on Friends of First Sky Omaha, check us out there. But in the meantime, in between time, let's get this show rolling. 15 minutes into the hour, Paul B.
Yo.
Let's go.
Let's do it. What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, the chat chimers. Shout out to my 6:30 crew. Hope that the radio channel is coming in loud and clear this morning. Sorry about the mishap on Friday. Definitely check it out. FirstSkyOmaha.com. Hit the listen button. It is a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning on this Monday, the 19th of September. It's supposed to be about 92 degrees up today in Omaha, so definitely check on your loved ones on that. The humidity is supposed to be up high too, so it's gonna be a hot one. Uncharacteristically hot for today, breaking records and all. So watch yourself. Stacey Jean gives us a good morning. First Sky Omaha family and friends had a great weekend. Went to a book signing, reading, read a few of my poems. Got asked to submit a poem for someone's book project. Then I went to my grade school reunion. Boy, you had a pretty full weekend there. That's what's up.
Yeah.
And congratulations about the poems too. That's we love the arts around here for sure. So that's what's up. Also, Medicine Song says thank you community that has used their voices, talents, platforms to assist in being his voice. That's solid. Talking about Ernest Jackson and what we're going to talk about today. That's happening here at 1 o'clock. Amy Helpless gives us a good morning. Von Chapman already with a diatribe. Absolutely not reading this whole thing right this minute, my brother. We'll have to go back, go back and check it out. But yeah, definitely go back and look if you got some time. Check out the comment here. We'll run through it and try to bring out some highlights here in a minute. Carolyn Jack says, "Good morning, First Sky family with a purple heart as well. What's going on, Purple fam? How you doing?"
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. And again, if you are on Facebook, do us a favor and share the show on your page so we can get as many people talking as we can. Appreciate it if you did that. We definitely want to hear from more voices in our community, which is what this is all about. In the meantime, between what's going on, my brother?
Man, again, as we mentioned, we will be kicking off today's show with talk of Ernest Jackson because we're trying to get some people mobilized, get some bodies down in the building in the state capitol in Lincoln today. Again, they are meeting in front of the Capitol at 11 this morning, but the hearing that everyone is anticipating goes down at 1. And again, if you don't know, if you aren't familiar, we're talking about the case of Ernest Jackson, who by all means is innocent. I mean, even the family of the victim is speaking out on behalf of Ernest Jackson. Actually, Mike Hatcher, who was the son of Larry Perry, who was the gentleman that Jackson is convicted of killing back in 1999, has apparently been in contact with Ernest Jackson over the last few years and wrote in a 2-page letter supporting Jackson's release, saying, "My impression of Ernest that I've gathered over time is that he is a remarkable man." Also comments from Pickens, Jeff Pickens, who's the attorney who has represented Jackson for several years. It's kind of interesting if you're not familiar with the Ernest Jackson story. Again, this is the case of a man who was convicted of murder back in 1999. He was only 17 at the time, and the whole case hinged on the timing of the trials. According to Pickens, again, Jackson's lawyer, he says, "I think his conviction was the result of bad timing. I think an innocent person is in prison." Apparently, the order of trials proved to matter greatly because the 2 other men who were arrested for Perry's murder still awaited their trial at the time and even declined to testify in Jackson's trial. And they were eventually acquitted, and Jackson wound up being the only one who was arrested for this event. However, he was also the only one who was not there. So a lot of information has come out over the years about Jackson's innocence. A lot of people have spoken up about Jackson's innocence, and yet he still sits behind bars. So today is the day that he will have his time in front of the Board of Pardons, to receive, hopefully, a commutation on his sentence. Of course, that does not buy back time lost, but it does begin to set right or wrong, if you will. So, again, we all know the issues of the Nebraska prison system. We still are calling the days not only Ernest Jackson, but Ed Poindexter still not free. And today is September 19th, 2022. We know that the state is currently in a national overcrowding emergency. So they have to address the amount of inmates that they have. So why not start here?
Yeah.
And of course, we know the issues with the pardon board, as reported by our partners at Flatwater Free Press. So shout out to Natalia Alamdari for her work on that. Again, with many occasions where the pardons board, members of the pardons board, are not present to do their job.
Let's hope they'll be present today. Paul Philman, who's pretty much our resident prison correspondent, he said he's headed to Lincoln from Des Moines about for the Ernest Jackson hearing today. So that's what's up.
Man, safe travels.
Yep. This Medicine Song put the sendearnesthome.com link in the chat in order for you to check it out if you're not aware of the story. For those not aware, visit the sendearnesthome.com website and you can check that out. Also, Von Chapman says, according to the evidence, he is innocent. So that's really what the real point is here, that there's evidence that he's innocent, and there has been for some time, and they're not really treating it. They're not really acting as if that evidence exists. So that's this hearing is very important for them to go over these things again. Leah Swing Left Nebraska says, is there anyone we make a phone call in support? I'll leave that out there for Medicine Song. She might have a phone number there. But yeah, if you can't make it up there in person by 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock when the actual hearings are happening for support, then yes, hopefully there's somewhere you can call or something you can do for that. So we'll check it out. Leah Keister says, "Is there anyone we can call?" Yeah, she just asked that. So also, Medicine Song says, "Free Brother Ed, pardon and parole board have no accountability or oversight to our brothers and sisters get lost in the concrete jungle and the process that takes them there from streets to grave." Yeah, shout out to that reader article that we just mentioned, because it really opened my eyes about whether or not the parole boards even show up to some of this stuff, and
Man,
sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's just not important, and like Medicine Song is saying, no oversight. Real
yeah.
crazy.
As Chris Brolin put it, who polices the police? Where's the oversight? I believe the governor is supposed to do it, but yeah, we'll get into him in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in both cases, man, and both Ed Poindexter and Ernest Jackson, the evidence is overwhelming as far as pointing towards their innocence. Yet here these two men are, still locked up, and it's just mind-boggling that the state has been in this overcrowding emergency now for several years, and these two gentlemen who are obviously innocent, obviously worthy of release, even if they weren't innocent. At what point do they serve their time?
Well, in the case of Ed Poindexter, that's what they're saying. They've gone past. They've tried to get him out so many times, and now they're just arguing, let him live out the rest of his last days outside with his family. And they because they just keep on denying new evidence. So, it's so the system is so messed up. The system is so unjust. You don't even know where to start sometimes.
Man, and that's my thoughts exactly. Like what is justice? You know what I mean? Like how do you serve that? Is just throwing the people in prison and throwing away the key, is that really how we should be addressing our issues as a society? Now I do think that prison and police and the justice system has its place. I wouldn't say that we need a society void of those things. But I'll put it like this, man. Like, justice without compassion, justice without love is just tyranny, man.
It's real. Von Chapman was asking, is Ricketts a member of the parole board? Medicine Song says pardon board. He's on the pardon board. So
Right.
he would be the one that would give the pardon for Ernest Jackson. So yeah. Also, she says Governor Pete Ricketts, Attorney General, Secretary of State, Senators, Mayor. Also, be reminded we have LB 28 that Senator Justin Wayne, put some respect on his name, made happen, that we missed by one vote. We'll need community support moving forward. Thanks for asking. I appreciate the networking is so important to keep. So I can't remember what LB 28 is.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
I know we reported on this at one point. early on, but I'm trying to This give me a little reminder of what that is too. But yeah, also.
All right.
Mhm.
So this LB 28 is to provide for motions for new trial based on newly discovered evidence. So that would allow Ernest Jackson and possibly Ed Poindexter to get a new trial.
Missed by one vote. That's interesting. Need to go back and take a look at what happened there for sure. But yeah, so if this is getting pushed again, like she says, we need community support moving forward. Just another thing to take some action on. It seems like it's obvious that if you come up with some new evidence, then you should be able to have a new trial.
Right.
And it obviously that is not how it works. No matter what they do on CS on Law and Order.
Man. But I mean, keep in mind, like it is a red state, it is, and we all know about the law and order, tough on crime tone that we hear. So
From
new
both
blood.
Republicans and Democrats, man.
Right.
By the way.
Yeah. I will say that. We've seen that from President Biden recently.
Yeah.
But yes, new blood, I think will change a lot of this, because mind you that Governor Ricketts, who recently announced the new Department of Corrections interim director, Miss Diane Sabka Ryan, to replace Scott Frakes. But again, Governor Ricketts is the one who's appointing these people. This can go a long way, and this is also why I've called for Scott Frakes and Governor Ricketts to possibly come up against some charges, man. Like it makes no sense why the state has been in an national overcrowding emergency, the second most overcrowded prison system in the country, and these gentlemen are just now getting their commutation hearings and just now getting their pardon hearings when they are prime candidates for the first ones to be released.
What say you? Let us know in the chat how you feeling about these things. Medicine Song says that is quoting Hinkeman, saying, "I know Ernest Jackson is innocent, but if I give this vote, I will lose my votes for DNA at the site of the arrest." Something else, some other stuff to look into there. I definitely want to check out where that quote was, where it came from, what was the context, and what that was about. But just admitting that somebody is innocent and then making it a political reason why you didn't stand up for that is really insane.
Man,
par for the course, stuff we expect to be happening that way. Also, Medicine Song says, "Learn how to vote and vote." We up for mayor here in the L, and we're up for governor, and so many seats that run this type of show. So, so there's then Lincoln's in the fight too. Lincoln is definitely in the fight too.
Oh yeah.
But here we are, in Omaha talking about new blood for real. There was an article that just came out that talked about how much more important the governorship is than pretty much any other position, as far as how it affects you, what affects your life personally, even more so than federal, because a lot of times things will start at the state on the governor level that the federal level will copy and try to implement, and that's how a lot of stuff is what it is right now. If you think about how marijuana has been legal in California for a while, that all everything starts with the governor. So
I mean, look at Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
Roe v. Wade was, opened up, I'll say, not necessarily blocked or overturned, if you will. But regardless of what happened on the federal level, we've seen different responses from each individual state based on whether their governor is Republican or Democrat. You've seen some states go beyond, what the federal government has done and try to block women's productive rights even more. And then you've seen some Democratic states go the opposite way. So it definitely depends on your governor. And we should definitely keep our eye on this gubernatorial race and get new blood in the state. I mean, if it's either new blood or the same old same, you make a decision.
Ellen Pillin. So she going up against Ellen Pillin. Von Chapman says prison is an investment growth product, and as such, states are being paid to keep people locked up. Yeah, this is
human trafficking.
So this is modern day slavery. We've been talking about it for years and years, And now we're at the point now. It's like what needs to be done about it? What needs to be done? So anytime I'm hearing about who's stuff like LB 28 that is being pushed, that we're getting we make incremental steps towards fixing this situation, but we need big double wide steps to get somewhere with
Man,
this
I
because
mean the 13th Amendment just recently was repealed in the state of Nebraska. I'm pretty sure the people who's running the prisons system in the state are still in the 13th Amendment mentality. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, 13th Amendment, you are a slave when it is verbatim in the law. You are a slave when duly convicted of a crime.
slavery was abolished,
Except
except if you're convicted of a crime, then you're now you're subject to slavery, slave labor. You're the ward of the state. All these things. So does it make sense why there's so many black folks in jail? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. So literally, we're talking about today, brother Ernest Jackson trying to be released from slavery for a crime he did not do. That is what's happening. Literally trying to be released from slavery.
and that's not just us saying he didn't do it. There's evidence that he didn't do it. There's politicians that know he didn't do it. The family of the victim knows he didn't do it. And this has been a political game, and it's taking years of his life. So all we can hope for now is that we have enough people that show up today at 1:00 in order to really try to make an impact, and we got to hope that the parole board shows up, because now we've had to discuss about how they don't do that sometimes.
And that's the thing. Even if we get 1,000 people to show up at this hearing, if the pardon board members don't do their job, then I if I'm not mistaken, if enough of them don't show up, then like the hearing can't even go forward.
Can't even go forward. Von Chapman, favorite 3 words: litigation, litigation, litigation. Overcrowding. Where's the ACLU?
Yeah, he's been ringing that bell for a while.
They're busy fighting for some other folks' rights.
Man,
I would like to see the ACLU step up on some of this. One more comment before we go to a break. It's 7:33 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, Medicine Song says things we read about and watch on TV and marched for in our very own streets is happening right now in our front yard.
Man,
well said. Facts. There you go. Facts. 11:00. Meet at the Capitol so that you can be a part of speaking out against Ernest Jackson being incarcerated the way he is. Innocent man in jail. Hearing at 1:00. Let's hope the parole board stands up, comes on through. Let's take a quick break. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B.
In the morning.
You don't even let you sing your song. My bad.
Come on, man.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Little Pops beat there, man. Try to cheer us up a little bit. Appreciate that, Pops. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio as well. So if you're over there on the radio channel, let us know if we're coming through loud and clear over there. Appreciate it if you would do that. Thank you very much. And those of you that are on Friends of First Sky Omaha, appreciate you over there too. But come on over to the First Sky Omaha page so we can talk and have some discussion, be part of this thing we call group storytelling. And we really appreciate everybody that's here now. Share the show if you're on Facebook. We can get more people in to talk about these things. We want everybody to know about what's going on here with especially with Ernest Jackson. It's a haps that's happening today at 1:00. And if you're free and not having to go to work in the middle of the day, then it might be worth it for you to be able to take a trip up to Lincoln and show some support. We got to do what we can do to try to make this thing happen. Get innocent people out of jail. So is what it is. In the meantime, we're going to move on with some new subjects and things to talk about here. Is according to you, the chat chimers that put stuff in Friends of First Sky Omaha. This is the first place we go look now every day to check to see what we want to talk about today. It's not just our subjects or what's in the headlines, but it's also the things that's important to you and what you guys want to talk about. So with that said, buddy, what's going on with you?
Man, well, I like to actually finish what we started as far as today's conversation and police accountability and who's policing the police. We talked about the problem. Now I'd like to discuss a possible solution. A big shout out to State Senator Terrell McKinney. Put some respect on his name. Got to say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest or a pimp named Slickback.
Yes,
But he's putting in the work, man. He's putting in the work, and that's why we put respect on his name around here. Doubling back, man. He's spinning the block again after his last movement from last year as far as keeping police accountable was blocked by Omaha Police Officers Association, the Lincoln Police Union, and the Nebraska Attorney General's office. I'm talking about the Brady list that Senator McKinney, put some respect on his name, is calling for. He's not letting it go. If you're not familiar with the Brady's list, so we kind of talked about it on Friday. It is a list that came from a 1963 Supreme Court ruling in Brady v. Maryland, in which the failure to turn over evidence in the defendant's favor violates due process. Brady lists sometimes are referred to as Brady Giglio list because of the 1972 United States versus Giglio case, which said the Brady rule must include evidence related to the credibility of a witness, such as involved law enforcement. So again, an officer's record, if you will, and it's funny, man. We talked about officers pulling up your truancy record on traffic stops,
bro.
But yet they don't want their record out there. Like hypocrisy. Okay. And again, this is not the first time that Senator McKinney is calling for this. This is a bill that he actually pushed last session, but it was blocked again by the likes of the Omaha Police Officers Association, Nebraska Attorney General's office, and the Nebraska County Attorneys Association, who all testified against last year's version of the bill. Of course, Tony Connor, Omaha Police Union president, said this bill does absolutely nothing to enhance public safety. The clear purpose of LB 883, in our view, is to publicly and punitively jeopardize the reputations and careers of those who serve in law enforcement. Connor also went on to say, nationwide, there are no standards for what conduct can land an officer on a Brady list, whether that conduct must be substantiated, whether the officer is notified, and whether they are entitled to any kind of hearing or appeal. I would say it's interesting hearing that from Tony Connor, because giving the latest insight on his personal life, he might find himself on that list. So I'm not surprised that he will be against it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, really interesting. Like Chris Bowling said, who polices the police? Number one, and we always hear about stuff. We've been talking about these kinds of things for years, where a police officer will do something extra violent or whatever, and he'll get in trouble, maybe even get fired. And next thing you know, they're on another job on another force in another city.
Yeah.
Nothing. No accountability there. First of all, they put them on paid leave while they do an internal investigation. It all sounds real self-serving and ridiculous, and it doesn't make any sense why this organization. I'm trying to find the word for it, because it's not really it's a private organization, really. The police,
that contracts. They're mercenaries. Let's just call them what they are. They're contracted mercenaries.
They like to lean on the fact that they're private when it comes to stuff like this, but they're supposed to be for the public. So I think it's messed up. I think that there should be some account. It's not enough. It's not a lot to ask to have some record of a policeman's. Everybody has a record of what it is that they're doing. Everybody is looked at that way, judged that way. The police act because of those exact things. If you get pulled over and you got any kind of record, this is the reason why they make the decisions they make. So why wouldn't it? Right. Why couldn't it be the other way around? Yeah, Chris Ignore in the chat says one of the folks who sits on the Lincoln Police Review Board is a widow of an officer killed in the line of duty. Interesting. Paul Philman says September 2022 third quarter pardon board hearing. He gives a link, event date Monday, September 19th, 2022. Um, what is this one? What is this for? This is for a
The
pardon board hearing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that information.
Yeah.
If anyone can make that, pull up.
Also, I'm going to put the link to First Sky, Friends of First Sky Omaha in the chat right now. This is where you can see the letter that Brother Terrell McKinney put together about making this Brady list available.
Man. And I do find it interesting that the Omaha Police Department do have a such list. Like they do have a list. They know who's on it, but they don't want to make it public is the issue. Apparently, their internal affairs unit does keep a spreadsheet that identifies the officers, employees who have been determined to be on the Brady list, which has a short description of the basis for the finding relative to that officer or employee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, as you see in this list or this letter, it says Brady lists are vital public information as they show which police officers have credibility issues and indicate whether prosecutors are following the law by maintaining and updating these records. According to State Senator Wayne, put some respect on his name. He also says juries should know, for instance, if the police employee testifying before them has been investigated and found to have committed misconduct in the line of duty. Again, you have, and this goes back to the Constitution and due process. You have the right, to know who your accusers are. You have the right to know who is charging you of a crime, and you have the right to bring their credibility into question. You have the right to defend yourself.
Vaughn Chapman in the chat is asking a very important question. Not that we're saying that this is the case, but if a police officer roughs up his wife, is it hypocritical of that officer to demand that his or her criminal record not be public?
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Seems like it's a no-brainer, but again, when you come, this is the reason why I have a problem with the police system. Period. Policing other human beings is problematic. In the first place, the whole system is jacked because you come in with this punitive attitude. You come in with this parentalism. You come in with thinking that you should be controlling other human beings.
Right.
And then then this is the reason why we have things such as qualified immunity. You can lethally do something to somebody and you don't need to be punished for that. You're above what the laws are. Any situation where you're above what the laws are that you're supposed to be enforcing is crazy. Like how crazy is that? How are you not subject to those same laws that you're out policing? It doesn't make sense. They have to be put above the law in order to police people according to a law. And
are they above it though?
Well, yeah, if you get qualified immunity, you are. You can't just go. You can't. The average citizen can't go out and do something to somebody and get qualified immunity for it.
Beat them up, shoot them.
I mean that alone, right there, is enough. That alone. So why wouldn't they be trying to hide records and stuff like that? Why wouldn't they? If you come from a stance of qualified immunity, why wouldn't you also decide that you can show or not show the records that what I'm saying? Like you make the decisions, you do all the internal investigations and all that mess. Like, why wouldn't you come from that angle if you're coming from the angle of the police are above what it is that every other citizen? Von Chapman says if called court to testify that police officers' credibility is subject to be questioned. I'm sitting here right now thinking about the guy who just got convicted for George Floyd and the other police officers. It's an anomaly, bro. How many times have we heard that happen?
Yeah, you said that when the news broke.
It was too big. They marched for George Floyd all around the whole world. So the dude had to go down.
And that's the thing, man. Like you see it change up. Going back to thinking about not Precious, but I believe Sister Tamika Meese, her story about her interaction with the police and the fact that once the officer found out who she was, knew that she was connected, knew that she might speak up about this incident, her tone changed. This will definitely hold these officers accountable. If they know that what they do can't, be swept under the rug, they will change.
We got brother Senator Terrell McKinney, put some respect on his name in the chat. He says they are hypocrites and have an inaccurate gang list that they have no problem using.
Yep. And they're the gang or a gang.
Man, appreciate you coming on in, brother Terrell McKinney. I know that a lot of times you're the ghost listener, so I appreciate you chiming in on that because we was hoping that you would speak up. We really appreciate your efforts of going out and doing this. This is what it is. People they do stuff like this all the time where they'll put some states they got your face up on a billboard. I'm thinking about predators lists and things that they put you on. There's one state that they got a channel where they just showing people's mugshots and what they did, and it's all a shaming. It's all a punitive thing that they're doing that for. They put your business out there in the street like that so that you can feel shame, so that you can act different. That's their whole point. Now, why would they be held to that? Just that one simple standard right there, that what you do is public, is crazy, let alone getting prosecuted for things that you do that are actual crimes that other people would get prosecuted to doing if they did. They would get prosecuted if they did those same things. We ain't even I'm not even down the road to the prosecution yet. I'm just saying, can there be a record of what you do? Like if I got a record, why don't you got a record? It don't make no sense.
Man.
And Miss Tamika's story shook me to the core on that, bro, because I've never been in a whole bunch of trouble when I was growing up. I might have been truant. So you trying to tell me that might have affected if I got pulled over and they were like, well, you got a little bit of a record, don't you? No, actually I don't.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do, because you skipped some school back in the day. Are you kidding me?
But that's the preschool to prison pipeline in full effect, man. That's how it works. That's how it works.
I'm making a point about the records and how they got records all the way back to your school days. Exactly. But they don't want a record of their policemanship out in the public. There's got to be oversight. There's got to be oversight of the whole thing. They can't just be the police department policing themselves and investigating themselves and having records of themselves and keeping them to themselves. And they deal with the public. That's what the whole organization is there for. And they claim that we're supposed to treat them like public servants that way. But because they're a private entity, when it comes to stuff like this, they like to lean on we're private, so we don't have to release these lists.
Right. And we're protected by this union.
Hot mess. Wanda Lewis says Douglas County Sheriff's Department stated as of yesterday that they are also seeking ARPA funds for a mental health facility to be on the same page with the city of Omaha. Everybody is getting locked up, not just the youth.
Man.
Brother McKinney says if they didn't have anything to hide, it wouldn't be an issue. That sounds like coming out of the cop's mouth. Cops say that all the time. Well, you didn't do anything wrong, then what you?
Yeah.
That's why I strongly dislike when people celebrate them, because they come to like advocating to violate our youth rights and etc. Right? It doesn't make any sense. First of all, there's so much there. The celebration of this whole system is ridiculous. I can understand being thankful that we have first responders for situations that come in and take care of things for situations that happens. But to act like these people are above people doesn't make any sense. You don't celebrate people for policing you. There's only certain demographics that celebrate the police. First of all, it's because the police force is for that demographic against everything else, violating youth rights and so on. So I got a problem with it. I talked to a lot of people about this in our group. Even there's even chat chimers I've had deep conversations about this with. Because they're like, well, there's some good police officers out there and there's some this and that. The whole system of policing human beings is jacked.
Yeah.
It's one thing to protect. It's another thing to be policing a people. Von Chapman says, how many black folk disproportionately have been found guilty and then innocent after spending decades, except for Ernest Jackson, in prison because police or the district attorney's office and the police lied or hid or didn't disclose pertinent information? Happens every day, all the time.
And this is the thing, like it's funny that, and not funny like haha funny, but kind of irks me funny that Tony Connor is saying this bill does absolutely nothing to enhance public safety when we know that Breonna, I want to say Breonna Ford,
Taylor,
thank you, will still be alive
right,
because those officers were lying.
right.
Had they list like had had we known who these people were,
Somebody
maybe
just
things would have went differently.
somebody just got convicted in that case because she covered up, she helped cover up the lie. It happens all the time, bro. Somebody busted into somebody's house and shot you while you're in bed asleep, and then figured out and then covered it up.
Another reason as to why the quote unquote bad apples don't just need to be pulled off the street and put on desk duty. They need to be fired because those same bad apples will falsify warrant information, evidence.
I like how they use that bad apples analogy because if you got a bad apple in a bunch, you're gonna mess the whole bunch up.
Right,
So they're
right.
just trying to act like a bad apple's an individual thing. It's not. Brother McKinney says if they didn't have anything to hide, did I just read that already?
Yes, sir.
No, if they didn't have anything to hide, it wouldn't be an issue. That's why I just like, yeah, I read that already. Um,
Oh, he kind of cleaned
oh,
it up. He
I
says,
see.
yeah, because they come to Lincoln to advocate to violate our youth rights and etc. They don't want any accountability. Even the chief, don't let them fool y'all. Hey, we
Even the
calling
chief.
them out too. Like I said, just putting them on desk duty ain't enough. And I
Uh,
know, there's a process that, kind of goes over his head with the litigation with the unions and things like that.
right.
But come on.
Even desk duty, man. Like I said, this woman just got arrested for she was sitting on the desk that helped cover this mess up with Breonna Taylor. So I mean, it goes, and we said that too. One time Schmatter said something about, well, I know there's some cops that need to just go work in the evidence room. Nah,
Mm-mm.
not the evidence room either. We just reported on some cops that stole stuff out the evidence room, was selling drugs. Like, come on, man. Good cop, bad cop by Ice Cube sums it all up. Brother Valentine says, okay. Speaking of music, Brother Sanchez, Mayor Sanchez says, cops hate kids, kids hate cops. Cops kill kids with warning shots. What is crime and what is not? What is justice? I think I forgot. Ice
Mm.
Ice T lyrics, straight up from back in the '80s, bro.
My thoughts exactly. My thoughts exactly.
While we're on this subject, before we go to a break, it is coming up on 8 o'clock in just about 7 minutes. You believe in the concept of time, that is. It is rushing by right now for sure. Um,
Man.
I've been definitely getting a lot of messages about this 14-year-old boy that got beat up by the cops. And this is something that has been going on. This is something that is connected to a whole bunch of other things. The reason why I don't want to go into it too much right now is because of the fact that we're still kind of searching out what the facts are and so on and so forth, because there's a lot of people that's talking about it right now, and I want to get that straight. But it has come to my attention, but from several people about this issue, about what's happening here. There's pictures floating around with this boy's face all beat up, and I don't know what's getting ready to happen here. What's going to come to anything with all this? They're connected to somehow. I think it's connected to a lot of the shootings that's been going on here lately in our city. So yeah, if you know anything about what I'm talking about right now, send us more information. We definitely are trying to look through this. But we got people on our team that I think this is affected because I'm getting a lot of messages from the squad on this. There's a talk kind of sitting around like a talk show called the Hood Table that's out of Omaha. We've talked to the people that are responsible for that show before, but they got a show on YouTube and they've been talking about it recently. Lots of stuff going on here. We need to find out. Wanda
Man.
Lewis says they were aware that he suffered with mental health. Okay,
Wow.
so yeah, so that was I heard that part of it too. So yeah, 14-year-old boy, and I don't really know what's going on with this yet. So that's why we're looking into it. And if you have any information, let us know. We'll definitely take it and look into it more as well. But police got to get they absolutely positively have to be held responsible for what they do. And I mean, that's the beginning. The beginning is
Right.
bringing it out into the light. That's just the beginning, bro. Be
Right.
able to see the list. That's just the beginning. We'll go to a quick break. Jimmy Light in the house says free, honest, Earnest Jackson. Yep.
Man,
Let's not forget there is a hearing that's happening at 1:00 today. The family and everybody would like you guys to come down at 11 if you can. Rally for this in order to show support and to be able to get Earnest Jackson free with this parole board hearing that's coming up here at 1 today. That's happening today. So just want to remind people of that. In the meantime, between time, we'll go to a quick break and come right back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. Again, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. Stay tuned. Be right back. Welcome back. Yeah, man. First Sky Omaha, bro. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
Yes.
Yes.
We in here, man. First Sky Omaha.
Yeah, man. We're back. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for sticking with us. Again, if you're on Facebook, do us a favor to share the show. Get as many people talking as we can, especially today, because what we're trying to do is rally as many people as we can to go up to the Capitol building in Lincoln, 11:00 on the north side. Jimmy Light says, gather there and be there in support of the parole board hearing that's happening at 1:00 to try to free Ernest Jackson. I mean, basically, this is what it's for. Will he be able to be freed? Will the parole board show up? These are all questions that I know they've been in the news hard too. I don't even have cable, but I've been seeing all around town the family medicine song. Everybody on on the news talking about this. This is a story that's definitely got some exposure right now. So hopefully that'll put pressure on the parole board to show up, and hopefully the body's there in solidarity at 11:00 on the north side of the Capitol showing up too will also push that agenda, make them get on up and get down there. So hopefully we'll see what's up. Stacey Jean in the chat says Tanya Haley runs the hood table. She has the 14-year-old's mother on her show. There you go. So some more information that we can listen to that, check that out. Brianna Full gives us a good morning. Good morning to you with some sunshine. Appreciate that.
Hey.
Wanda Lewis says they're seeking $2.5 million. So I don't know if they're gonna sue the city or the police department. I don't know who they're suing, but they're going for some money over this. So yeah, more to find out about. I'd love to have any guests on there if anybody has any connections there, and hear what's going on. Like I said, we don't always talk about some of these things, but when it affects our community as much as it is right now, that we definitely want to shine some light on it if we can.
Yeah, definitely got to talk about it. And also in light of the Brady's list, what's being done about this officer? Are they on leave? Are they being investigated? Are they still working? What's going on?
Good question. Coming up on that second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you. Thanks for everybody that's on and sharing the show. If you're on Facebook, thanks for everybody that's tuned in right now and adding to the conversation. It really helps out. Got a few more things to jump into and talk about this hour, and I would love to hear from you on. Again, a lot of this information we get from friends of First Sky Omaha. That's all of you that have decided to drop those things in as a means to talk about them when we have these discussions Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if you're just joining us, my name is Paul B. This is Buddi3 Da Gawd. We got a show here called First Sky Omaha in the morning. Yep. And it's a discussion. All of you is going down. Appreciate you being here, but tell a friend. We need more voices in here as well. Definitely let people understand what's going on here so they can be a part of that conversation. Buddy, what's next on the agenda?
Yeah, we're gonna switch gears here again. If you're just now tuning in with us for the first time, we are in season 4, and the theme for this season is "Follow the Money," which is exactly what we're gonna do throughout the second hour, starting with this $200 million worth of property tax relief that was left on the table. That's according to state officials, as reported by the Omaha World Herald. State Tax Commissioner Tony Fulton says that property owners claimed only about 60% of the income tax credits that were available under a 2-year-old property tax relief program, which is the same proportion as last year, when the amount allocated for the program was $125 million. This year, lawmakers put about just short of $600 million toward the program, enough to provide property owners with refundable income tax credits equal to about 25% of their school property taxes paid. And again, school property tax, we know, leads to a huge budget on behalf specifically of Omaha public schools. But of course, Governor Ricketts chimed up on the situation, saying that not all Nebraskans took advantage of the credits when they filed their income taxes for 2021. And on Thursday, he said there is still time to get the money. So that's big news. Again, this is significant tax relief, says Governor Ricketts. We want to get the word out through this press conference today to remind Nebraskans to claim it. So again, if you are a property owner, if you are paying property taxes, there may be some money out there for you. State lawmakers created the credit 2 years ago as part of LB 1107. The income tax credits are in addition to a longstanding tax program which distributed about $300 million this year. So again, homeowners and commercial property owners will get credited $106 for every $100,000 of assessed valuation next year. So again, if your property is assessed at about $100,000, then you'll get 106. If it's at 200, that doubles, and so on and so forth. Now, farm and ranch landowners will get 127, so slightly above that mark. Again, for every $100,000 of assessed evaluation. The amount of credits under the program dropped because increases in property valuations outpaced the growth of the property tax fund itself. So again, this deals with property value going up quicker than the growth of the actual tax credits.
Okay.
A lot of numbers, but hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, and if you are a homeowner or know somebody in your family, parents, grandparents, whatever, it might be a good idea for us to look into it and help them out, just in case you're not seeing it, because it sounds like to me it's a crisis of communication here going on with this stuff. There's that much tax credit help out there. Don't sound like people know about it. So if it's come down to Pete Ricketts got to give a press conference about it, then I don't think they did too well with the marketing of the of all that material, of all that information. Or they may, or some more hoops that people got to jump through that people are just like, yeah, it's too much. I can't, So
well, that's the issue, because the older credits are automatically applied as a deduction on annual property tax statements. However, the new credits, you do have to file. Like there's something that you have to do. You have to file for those when you submit your income taxes. And the credits are refundable, meaning that taxpayers get money back if their property tax credit exceeds what they owe in income taxes. So you can take something home. You can have a little something in your pocket if you go through this. But again, it is very interesting that $200 million, 60%, only 60% of that has been claimed, which is about half, really.
Yeah. So there you go. Information in the first Sky Friends of First Sky Omaha page. Definitely would drop that information as an article in there about it, so you can read that. And like I said, look into it. It might be something to look into for anybody that that needs some help. Von Chapman says, won't properties owned by philanthropists get a large chunk of that money? Very good question.
That's where my mind is going. Where's it go?
The fact that there's $200 million not gone to anyone yet is telling me that they ain't figured it out, or they haven't thought about it or something. So not sure, but we'll see. We'll see on that one. Also, Brianna Full in the chat says, last session, Senator Blood introduced a bill so those tax credits would automatically be claimed and sent out to the taxpayers, but the conservative senators didn't want it because they want people to know that the state was giving them the aid. Basically, they just want credit. They want to put
so they can get the votes.
Well, they also know that making you jump through some hoops and having to fill stuff out is going to weed out a whole bunch of people that just can't do it, or not don't have the capacity, or don't do it in time, or whatever the deal. Every time I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about all the hoops that everybody's always having to jump through just to get any kind of help around here. And that's an interesting take on it, Brianna Fool. I never thought of that part of it, where they want you to know the state giving this to you. You know what I'm saying? They want you to know, for a bunch of different reasons.
Votes.
Votes, also so you know so you don't feel like you're entitled to this, so that the safety net doesn't become a hammock. All kinds of reasons why they would want you to make sure you know where this money's coming from.
Right,
Type of
right.
attitude.
Um,
Kimber Snipes gives a good morning, real quick. Just wanted to
yeah,
say
go
hi.
ahead. Oh, hey, Sister Snipes, how you doing? How you doing? I just wanted to add to this as far as where the money goes and what they do with it. It is being reported in this article that Ricketts stated that although there is money left over unclaimed from the past 2 years, that money will roll over into the amount for 2022. So again, you can still apply for this. As again, still a lot of money out there. So if you're a property owner, and you're paying property taxes, then the chances are that you might be getting a little something back. At least a couple $100. At least a couple $100.
Definitely check into it. And also, while we're checking into things, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on here with the student loan debt payoff too. Are we waiting on something, or was supposed to come? It's not supposed to come automatically. It's some other hoops you got to jump through on this one too, right? Do you remember anything about that? I think
I think there's still some votes on that.
I think there's something coming in October. You're supposed to fill out or something like that in order to get that $10,000 or $20,000 tax relief that Biden put in motion. I can't quite remember what needs to happen, but maybe we'll look into it so we can help everybody stay up on it with us.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I believe that there's still a few committees that it has to go through before it actually becomes active. But let's look into that to be sure. If anyone has any information on that, please drop that in the chat.
Christy Norris says you have to apply. Also, Kimber Snipe says we're waiting on them to open up the application to apply for the debt forgiveness.
There you go.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So yeah, getting ready to just have to fill some paperwork out, but it's all good. It is what it is. So it's amazing all the automatic services they have out there to take your money, but with all the things you got to fill out to get some. Brianna Full said, I said that leftover money should be put towards property tax relief for homeowners in formerly redlined areas. So displacement and gentrification doesn't happen when all these new investments come to North and South Omaha. So I think it's a good idea. That money
it is
put towards property tax relief for homeowners formerly redlined. Although I don't know if I'd say formally.
Man.
They're still pretty redlined. So yeah, but we understand what you're saying. What areas there's certain areas that definitely could use the help, that are always on the verge of being redeveloped, reinvested in, or in a way that they're disinvesting in the neighborhoods now. Kimber Snipes says that you have to make sure you go to the Department of Education website, sign up to get the alert for when the application opens.
Okay.
Man,
there you go.
You gotta go register just to register. You gotta go online, fill something out just to get a note that you got to fill something out later.
And that's if you can get online to begin with.
If you can get online in the first place. Moving on, 8:09 right now. In if you believe in the concept of time, for Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
What's next on the agenda, buddy?
Man, continue to follow the money. Man, we're talking about homeowners, but what about the people renting?
Good question.
Yeah, man, it's looking bad, especially if you're on Section 8, because prices are increasing and it's hard to keep pace. This is being reported by KMTV News 3. Rent is rising in Omaha, and 3 News now has received data from Together, which shows the average rent for an apartment in August of 2019 was $927. In June of this year, it went up to just $1,101. And we've already discussed that there's several areas that's even beyond that. And again, we're just talking about Section 8 housing vouchers, which do offer some help, but with the rent rising up, that rate is, some residents say the vouchers aren't enough to keep up. Per tenant cost of a voucher in December of 2019 was $610. In December of last year, it was just $675. And again, that's about $300 short of rent. So that means that you need to make $3,000 or $4,000 a month, also include the fact that you have to be making 3 or 4 times the rent to begin with to even get in the place. Again, one resident says that means that you need to make 3,000 or 4,000 a month. And let's be real, how many people in this situation on Section 8 vouchers are making 300 to 400 or 1,000 a month? Because if you're using a housing voucher, you're not making that much money. And apparently this is interesting. Just reading between the lines, they did not identify this resident in this article. It says we concealed his identity for fear of retaliation. That's interesting. Retaliation from who?
Yeah. People are watching. He has that person has to still go out and try to find a situation.
Housing.
Yeah. Shout out to Dewan Lamont Hayes, who was the co-founder of the brainchild behind Noise.
Yep.
Back in the day. He was actually featured on that article. He was one of the ones that spoke out and said, "I'm going to give my name and get on camera and talk about this too," and he did, because he's been trying to advocate for this for a while as well. He's an up and coming professional. He's a professional now, up and coming in his career, and he's having a hard time finding housing. And he's been on this crusade here for a minute. Even during the Noise days, I remember him talking about this a lot.
Yeah.
How come there's not affordable housing for up and coming professionals? With the kind of rates of pay that we're getting, what's going on there. So shout out to him for talking about his story on that article. Definitely go check out KMTV Channel 3, see what Dewan Lamont Hayes has to say on housing. In the chat, Kimmer Snipe says my rent is $1,300. It literally costs to get out of the hood.
Man,
yeah.
Being poor is expensive.
We talk about this all the time. We always harken back to what Michelle Trosclair was talking about when we did this whole figure out that you got to make a certain amount of money in order to be able to, that rent right now is around $1,100. That's kind of the average almost. And that's rough. That's rough for anybody, especially. Let's see. Kimber Snipe says, and the Omaha Housing Authority Board has no resident representative on it right now.
Wow.
What happened there?
That's interesting. So all these elderly people in these towers, how do they have their grievances heard?
It's not just elderly people. There's all kinds of people in the tower, and who are they talking?
Right.
Can you even get in the towers these days? Is one of the questions.
Yeah. And that's another interesting part of this, because we talked about, speaking of the towers, which are mostly in North Omaha, there's a decreased number of property owners who are even accepting Section 8 in North Omaha.
Right. And the fact that Section 8 is not even cutting it. Like,
right.
That people are in some real trouble.
Yeah.
We talk about this. We talk about this all the time. And of course, when we talk about the housing being messed up all the time, we talk about that the solutions that we lean towards have to do with economic development, being able to have a job where you can pay whatever market price there is out there. You got to complain about it, but there's always going to be jobs out there that don't pay as much, that are also, people do and need to be done as well. So like, what do you do about having them be able to afford a place to live as well? So, there's so many different problems when it comes to this housing thing. It's messed up. Wanda Lewis says several of the OHA employees were dismissed a couple years ago. I had some family members that worked over there. I need to find out about that. Kimmer Snipe says, and that's mayor appointed.
There you go.
There's one of the problems. Von Chapman says affordable housing is not affordable. Absolutely not. Also, Kimmer Snipe says my biological father lives in one of those towers. He said there is no security either. Yeah, we had a lot to do with them towers. The Mind and Soul antenna was up on top of one of them, so we were there a lot. Saw a lot was going on. Tough stuff going on over there for real. I almost had it
barely working.
That's right. I almost had to. As a matter of fact, I had some friends that when I put the word out that I was looking for a place, and this goes to show you, like, I put the word out that I was looking for a place at one time, and friends of my parents, friends of my mom, were like, "Well, I don't know. Your income fluctuates a lot. You might need to go ahead and look at one of the towers." And
Man,
just right off the bat, like, let's just go check it out. And I was like, not trying to do that, but if it comes down to it, I ain't trying to be homeless. So let me see what's up. And it's who I don't even I couldn't even begin to tell you how you even go and check out. Like, I don't even know the process to.
to apply for a tower
Right,
unit. Mm.
right. Wanda Lewis says, not to mention the infestations. I mean, there's problems with the towers in a big way. In a big way. Brianna Full said it's even harder to find a place when landlords say you can't use housing vouchers at their rentals. Source of income discrimination.
Man, and it's exactly that actually. And I've experienced that firsthand. Like trying to trying to find a spot here. I mean, me and my wife and my 3 children had to live in an extended stay for like a month, just because this source of income is not. It's not that I couldn't prove that I could pay the rent. It's not even that I didn't have 3 times the rent. It's literally source of income discrimination. The fact that I am self-employed.
Right. Mama
And
God.
and
Go ahead.
I was just gonna also comment on what Dewan said in the article, who's really putting it in perspective, saying it's very class based, it's very race based. There's a lot of projections on folks who are seeking assistance, as well as limitations around being able to use it. Say you do get a voucher, who owns the property, and are they going to see me as a whole person because I'm coming with a voucher, or are you just looked at as another welfare case?
Shout out to Dewan Lamont Hayes for getting on, speaking up on this boldly. Appreciate him. Aki Kid gives us a good morning, First Sky family. Good morning to you, brother. We just talked about some of the things that you sent me. We're going to continue to talk about those things. A 14-year-old that got severely injured, and we're gathering more information before we talk about it. But appreciate shout out to you for sending over information. Mama God gives us a good morning as well. This morning, she says several friends and family house searching have shared with me that landlords are only accepting Section 8. I'm sure it's wait. Share with me that landlords are only accepting Section 8. I'm sure it's rough on both situations.
Man, and I can see
Interesting.
that. I can see that because you think about the pandemic, and as far as when in situations where Section 8 was cutting it, Section 8 never stopped. So those landlords are still getting their rent money. Those landlords are still getting paid. It's the landlords who had tenants who weren't on Section 8 who had their employment affected. That so it is definitely interesting how some are only accepting Section 8 vouchers, and I see why, and then some don't at all, and I see why.
Craziness. Miss Erica Felt in the house. Good morning to you. How you doing today? She says, "Good morning. I just got on. I know an elderly disabled man at the Park South Towers. I worry for him terribly. My mother lived there and was friends with him 20 years ago."
Hmm.
Sean McCarthy says, if you're using the formula, you have to earn at least 3, if not 4 times the rent. Then that pretty much means no one who lives at or below the poverty line could afford any type of housing in Omaha. Exactly. Wada Lewis says it's been said that they're phasing out parts of low income housing by 2026.
Man, it's happening. It's been said, we're seeing it happen before our very eyes. And I gotta we really gotta reach out to this missing middle like housing organization that's in Omaha. They're looking at the types of housing that is in the area. I'm not sure who's involved with that organization, but I've seen several studies and a lot of information that they released in regards to the types of housing and mixed income housing, and the types of housing that we're seeing versus what we should be seeing, and it's all spelling out the really the what is the word I'm looking for, the decline of the middle class, if you will. It increasingly seems like you're either getting poorer or richer,
Yeah.
and pretty soon there's going to be the haves. There's already, but the separation between the haves and the have nots seem to be getting wider and wider.
Very much so. We'll take a quick break here in a minute. Ms. Erica Felt says, I think the pandemic proved that the value of Section 8 to landlords, they used to refuse it. That's interesting. Also, Augie Kid is talking about the 14-year-old that we were talking about earlier. On that note, I think the family is having a gathering press conference today. That was the last thing I sent you. The mother, Miss Jones, said that she's having a trouble eating and sleeping because of all this mess.
Man,
prayers with the family there for real.
facts.
Like I said, we're not jumping into it too much because we haven't done the research yet, but we will. Brianna Full also says that the city is moving away from city-run housing because it's expensive to run. Are currently in the process of tearing down the houses, the housing towers over the next couple of years, moving to voucher only. So the towers won't even exist in a few years, and that's interesting that's the plan of the city there. Kimmer's Knife says my bro will only accept Section 8. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Ms. Erica Phil says yes to Omaha missing middle housing campaign.
Yep, that's what it's called.
Yep. Lots there, man. I mean, we always say this all the time. It's an evergreen situation here when it comes to the housing situation here, and it seems to be getting worse. I don't really see anything getting better with it at all. Hope we've taken a little bit of a break from talking about it from time to time when we started talking about these ARPA funds that are coming in, and a portion of those ARPA funds are supposed to go to quote unquote affordable housing. And I think one of the plans is that the money will go to development companies or construction companies that can eventually turn into development companies and develop more housing and things like that for people. But again, how is that answering what the market is doing? How is that getting enough housing out there for people? If we're battling a lot of companies coming in from out of town that are building up apartment houses in these places, and their whole economic model is to raise rents high enough to be able to be to charge what the market is charging, which pushes people out. And like Von Chapman said, with no caps, regulatory control, everyone renting will become homeless.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Rather than, paying these developers and basically funding the gentrification of our communities, I would actually like to see, the city, the county, the state, all of them have their own bag of money. Maybe put some money towards bolstering this Section 8 voucher program, to allow it to keep up with rents. And then also on the other side, have an incentive program for landlords to accept those vouchers. That makes more sense than building housing that, as Brother Von Chapman said, people can't even afford to pay attention that is being built.
So true. I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you, the chat chimers, I got to tell you, we got to get these people out of some seats. Fat finger and stuff, my bad. Stay tuned. Ballad of the Bullet is going down. First Sky Omaha.
Economic exploitation and social degradation. Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging. The ballot or the bullet. 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 Since this is the year of the ballot or the bullet, we must understand the politics of our community. And we must know what politics is supposed to produce. And we must know what politics play in our lives.
What up? Welcome back. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, the chat chimers. Elections are coming up in November. There's a lot of stuff going on. We're definitely going to be putting up some dates in order to remind ourselves when things need to happen. A lot of the answers to a lot of these questions are lie in the fact that who's sitting in the seat, who's making the laws, what's being voted on. All these things really kind of depend on that. Mr. Erkenfeld in the chat says, I bought this house in January. My taxes on it already raised, and then I received a postcard that the county, city, and ops want to raise it $400 more. It also says that my house value raised over $20K since January. So even them coming out and saying your property value is now higher means you got to pay higher rates, and and we already discussed a lot about what happens if you miss any of your interest rate, your any of the housing taxes that you need to pay. Somebody can just come in and swoop the house out from under you. So while we're talking about that too, again, we want to remind everybody that Miss Erica Felt is a person that has bought her house so that she can run her business at her house. She takes care of young children, and right now she had to have a major operation. So she's recovering from that major operation, and she's a single mom. Her and her son are trying to make it, and we're trying to help her because that's what we do here on First Sky Omaha with the friends of First Sky Omaha, especially. So I'm going to go ahead and put that meal train link in the chat. Definitely, we need to help her out with that. There's a way that you can donate funds through the meal train, or you can hit her up on her own personal Cash App as well for that. But also you can have food delivered, or put yourself on the schedule to deliver food to her too. That also really helps. Miss Wanda Lewis is putting Miss Erica Felt's Cash App there, so you can hit her directly there. Any amount will help. We're really nowhere near the amount that we need to be able to help her get through the next month. She had it very carefully calculated out, like how many months she's going to be down for business. She's already looking at bringing on some kids here pretty soon in order to open back up and get back rolling. But in the meantime, let's help that out. As you can see, they're even messing with her on the value of the home that she just purchased to do this business. So let's definitely monetarily help her out, as well as give her some support emotionally and spiritually in every way, and also even just bringing a meal. Definitely check out that meal train and do that. And we gotta. Oh, she says she's giving us an update too. She says, what? I'll just say, I go into surgery again this Wednesday. I'm getting a port put in for chemotherapy to start next week. After that, I'll do radiation. I can't open until April now. Oh wow. I thought I'd be open in October. So remember her plan was to be open by October, but now we see that's going to be extended to April.
Several months.
Yeah, man, that's a lot of months. So let's do what we can do to try to help her out, and we'll keep this on our hearts and minds, and any little bit that we can do to help situation out. Let's please do here at First Sky Omaha in the morning with all of you. Von Chapman says, what bothers me more than anything is the philanthropists would rather build unaffordable housing rather than exiting companies to bring jobs to the areas that need more money to stave off of unaffordable situations.
I think he said underwriting existing companies.
Underwriting existing companies, right? Companies that you're bringing companies in that can give you a living wage, but not just a living wage, but a wage enough for you to be able to if the average is $1,000 a month for a spot, you got to make 3 or 4 times that. Then you need a job that's going to make you $3,000 or $4,000 a month. That's a $50,000 a year job. So, what do So, where are those jobs at? That's going to help. That's going to help a lot if we can get companies to come into the areas and really employ people, train people, and employ people. That would really help. Cash App link. I'll put it on the. Hey,
oh, there you go.
That's the first time I used that, I think. Check me out.
Quite nice.
Thank you very much for that. And everybody who is tuned in right now, we appreciate everybody's comments on these areas. We definitely have a lot more to talk about on this subject. Von Chapman brings some good points, man. Where are the jobs at? Where's that at?
Man.
I also have my point too about the fact that everybody's not going to be able to have a $50,000 a year job. So where can they live also and be able to do what they need to do?
Where's the affordable housing?
There's got to be a mix of both. There's got to be some affordable housing. There's got to be jobs in order for you to afford whatever housing you're looking for. So it all needs to happen at the same time. Mama God said, not trying to change the conversation, but went to alert my first Sky family to be safe and aware. Oldest son came home on Friday to visit. He was talking to a friend in front of his house at 2 a.m. on 58th and Grand Avenue when suddenly someone stopped at the top of the street and sprayed up the rental car. The police found about 40 shells. Everyone is fine, praise God, but the violence was random. Please be safe.
Yeah, man.
First time I
Yeah,
heard
that's-
about anything random happening in Omaha in a while. I'm glad everybody's cool there.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
that's
That was my
scary.
brother. It was a call I got over the weekend. But yeah, man, it's definitely getting crazy out there. It's definitely getting crazy out there. So please, be safe.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's see. Christy North says, "Where I work, no one makes less than $15 an hour." And I can't remember what $15 an hour is still not
Enough.
enough in order for you to make 3 or 4 times $1,000 rent.
And still be able to live and afford groceries and medication and whatever else. Right. I think we calculated it to about $27 an hour.
Dang. Yeah. So and you know what, I got to say this though, like in the grand scheme, when I look at the job situation, which I do from time to time, there's jobs out there where a lot of people getting paid 20, 30, 35, 40 bucks an hour. There's a lot of money out there. There's a lot of stuff out there going on.
Yeah.
And but you gotta drive out. It's definitely not in our neighborhoods at all. Transportation would not be an issue if jobs were brought to the community, is exactly what I was getting ready to say. If the jobs were already in the community, it wouldn't be a big issue to get there. Excuse me. He said the trolley is not coming to North Omaha. Excuse me. Oh man. So yeah, we definitely need, and we got room for it, and there's a need for it, and there's a whole population of people here that can populate those businesses. We need it here, for real. So anyway, moving on from that, this is an ongoing problem. This is a problem that's going to be always there. I don't see how this problem is not ever going to be not there. Price of housing and everything is going up. There's no bringing it down unless you have some kind of like program. You got to have some kind of program, because it's always going to, when his your wages. It's probably been since the 50s and 60s that the wages outpaced the rent. Right now, I have never seen that in my lifetime though.
Like I told you, the house I grew up in, my parents bought that for $36,000. Where can you find that? Where's that at? Where they do that at?
Good question. Christy North says we are paying a gas stipend and providing meal while they're talking to each other over there on some stuff. Okay, that's what's
Yeah,
up.
Mr. Rockefeller said, "Where are you working?" Let us know.
Yeah, they pay for gas and food. Well, we know that the North End Teleservices was providing rides to work.
Yeah.
They pay. I think they pay up around 14, 15 an hour too. So, it's a struggle. We're also business owners, and we know the struggle of having enough capital to be able to pay somebody a living wage. But we need bigger corporations that already got this stuff taken care of to come into the area, hire folks, and be able to give them a wage that they can do what they need to do on it. So
yeah. I mean, it's a dire situation. I'm gonna keep coming back to it. When you got school districts buying buildings just to house their employees.
Hey man, like I said, in I think it's either Seattle or California, I can't remember which one. They're asking for families around the school to rent rooms to the teachers.
It's a bad situation, man. It's a bad situation. But yes, let's keep it moving, man. Let's pivot. Just about 30 minutes left in the show, and we have actually a few articles to dive into. So let's kind of switch gears a little bit, but continue talking about welfare, man, especially in Grand Old Party Ran states. I don't know if you heard about this latest issue coming out of Mississippi, but it's not looking good for welfare recipients, man, because they're rather spend money on volleyball facilities than on those in need. And this goes right back to our conversation that we were having around Scott Frost too, with these this good old boy network taking care of your own, especially when it comes to these schools and these athletic programs. If you haven't heard, Brett Favre got himself in the hot seat after news broke. Text messages, actually, this is being reported by the Associated Press. Text messages were released from a 2017 conversation with Republican Governor Phil Bryant, again, governor of Mississippi, who actually left office in 2020, and former NFL legend Brett Favre, surrounding a conversation that Favre and others alleging they misspent millions of dollars in welfare money. The director of the nonprofit has pled guilty to criminal charges in Mississippi's largest public corruption case in decades. The texts were in documents filed Monday in state court by an attorney for the nonprofit known as the Mississippi Community Education Center. So in the center of this case, Brett Favre, who was the father of one of the students at I believe Southern University. And Brett Favre was trying to secure finances for a new volleyball facility, actually to the tune of $5 million. And instead of money going to help low-income families in one of the nation's poorest states, again, they funneled that $5 million through a nonprofit and spent it on the volleyball facility at a university that the football star and the governor both attended. So again, both Brett Favre and the governor were alumni of this university, and it didn't stop there. Apparently, the $5 million wasn't enough. There was another $1 million that they needed to finish the product. And again, text messages confirmed that Brett Favre and Governor Bryant colluded to reroute that money into Brett Favre's account.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know. What do you say about that?
That is seriously scandalous.
$6 million stolen from the welfare pot of all pots, the welfare pot. And again, one of the culprits have already pled guilty, and this is back in April, to charges of misspending welfare money. And the two of the people who have already been convicted await sentencing and have agreed to testify against others. Favre has not been charged with any criminal wrongdoing. I don't believe the governor has at this point either.
Oh yeah, they probably get away with it.
You think so?
Yeah, man. I think well, here's I'm saying it like that because I'm saying what needs to happen is they need to be thrown in jail.
Yep.
I don't think they will be. They might have to pay the money back or something, but they're not gonna get the punishment they probably need to get for this one. It just really goes to show you the attitude though. Like the entitlement is incredible. That's just incredible. They got all to say about people, welfare people. They're gonna steal the money from it. And then here's the part of the story that sticks out to me, because we're in Omaha, Nebraska, which is a pretty much nonprofit town. They funneled the money through a nonprofit.
Okay. For volleyball, which is pretty big in Nebraska as well.
They funneled They funneled the money through a nonprofit to get into his account. This goes to show. I mean, we don't hear much about nonprofits doing stuff, shady stuff, and illegal. We know they do. We talk about it amongst ourselves a lot. But when do you? I mean, there you go. There's stuff like that happening in Nebraska.
I just for me personally, and I'm the one who kind of this came across my radar, and I sent it to Paul. But this news broke like literally the day after we had the Scott Frost conversation, and it's always interesting to me when like we have these conversations and you kind of allude to things like the Good Old Boys Network, and it's like, is that a reach? And then stuff like this happens, and it's like, nah, it's real. It's real.
Yeah, it's not a secret. It's not what you know, who you know. It's not a secret, and they're not even it's not even a secret anymore that they really are looking out for each other this way. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Like, this is the whole thing to me. Like it harkens back to the story with Ricketts and his family and his brother with them tickets, and the whole scandal that is the college. What is it? The
St. Francis Ministries. Right.
Right, man. Come on, man. Everybody they talking to each other and they're colluding all over the place. Wanda Lewis says happens all the time when there's no accountability. Very true. Von Chapman says that's exactly why the city paid Mutual of Omaha through TIF to move downtown. That move guaranteed downtown would bring and maintain affordable housing.
Exactly. Look at how that move was made. Again, even people in city council was like, yeah, we didn't really talk about this. It was like the mayor and Mutual of Omaha.
Pop says fame or good or ability doesn't change who people are inside. This is a shame.
Man.
Von Chapman said the good old boy network is alive and doing quite well.
Yes. And this was only brought to attention after the Mississippi Department of Human Services filed a lawsuit against Favre, 3 former pro wrestlers, and several other people and businesses to try to recover millions of misspent welfare dollars.
Misspent welfare dollars. They couldn't have. It's poetic justice. They couldn't have stole from a better fund as much as they talk about people on welfare.
And mind you, Mississippi is the poor, like one of the poorest states in the country. The poorest.
Yeah.
So you telling me that the people who are in the most need in the poorest state of the country are the ones getting robbed?
Right. Well, like they had that money in hand in the first place because they needed it for that, but they're in a state where politically they try to act like people don't need welfare. People don't need. They shouldn't have no help. They should pull themselves up by the bootstraps and all that mess.
It does not miss me that again this governor is a part of the Grand Old Party.
Grand Old Party, good old boys.
Man, it's hello, and it's not just the $6 million that's wrapped up in this volleyball project. The lawsuit actually said that defendants, quote unquote, squandered more than $20 million from the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families Anti-Poverty Program, also known as TANF, which, again, bringing it back home to Nebraska. Remember, we had our conversation with Leah Cates about the money that's in Nebraska, TANF, and the families not getting it here in Nebraska.
Right. Wanda Lewis says, sounds like the governor of Nebraska don't feel the need.
That's okay. I'm just laying. We here to read between the lines, ain't we?
Hey, bro. Before we move on to this, I just want to ask a question about Brett Favre because I'm not a sports cat. I know he's a sports dude, right?
Yeah. He's a former quarterback for the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings.
So he didn't work in sports anymore?
No, he's retired. Long time. Finally.
Brother Valentine said, just an observation, but look at how many of our local community activist leaders are currently on a payroll with the group they previously despised. Something to look into. 8:43 right now, if you believe in the concept of time. Let's go do a little lightning round before we get to the haps and get into a little bit more of what we wanted to talk about today as well. Thanks for everybody who put comments down on this. Lots of good questions, lots of good things to make you think on what's going on here.
Yeah. Well, kind of real quick, just in passing, speaking of Scott Frost and the whole Husker situation that we were talking about, did anybody catch the game? Mickey Joseph lost his first game. I'm not, happy about that, but I'm also not surprised. So yeah, we're definitely still rooting for Mickey Joseph. But they lost.
Yeah, I missed it. I know I told people I was gonna watch it, but I couldn't find it. I don't got cable or an antenna. I looked online to see if I could see it. And before I got done looking online, I was like looking on Facebook. They were like, they lost.
Man, yeah, they lost. But we're hopeful, so we'll see what happens.
He needed to win all 9 games is what needed to happen. So
and now his chances are shot because he lost the first one.
Yeah, bro. I think so.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
He wins all 8 out there. If you win 8 more, they'll still be like, you lost that first one.
And it's not just the one is it's against Oklahoma. Like it's a big rival. So yeah, we'll see. Also, speaking of we'll see, we definitely have to see what happens, how this whole situation shakes with the governors of the Grand Old Party engaging in more foolishness. This time it's a Florida governor, Ron DeSantis, who apparently sent 2 planes of immigrants to Martha's Vineyard and just dropped them off. And I was actually listening to Reverend Al Sharpton on the radio yesterday, And they were having a conversation about whether or not this should be designated as kidnapping, because these migrants were moved on. They were told apparently that they signed a waiver, so they did sign something acknowledging that they were okay with the transport, but there were stipulations or details of the transport that weren't not necessarily
Divulged.
fulfilled.
Right.
They were told that they were going to have shelter and housing and food and things like that, and they were just dropped off just with nothing.
Yeah, they promised them work, all kinds of stuff. Also, this is the governor of Florida that went to Texas to pick up some folks to take them to Martha's Vineyard. So what like, and it's all a political point, and they're not even hiding that. They get on.
No.
They get on the press conferences saying that they're making a political point.
Like, hey, if I'm not mistaken, they're dropping them off in Democratic ran states.
Right.
Actually, it's so much so a political point that yesterday 2 buses unloaded more than 100 migrants at Vice President Kamala Harris's doorstep in D.C. They dropped them off on Vice President Kamala Harris's doorstep.
Look at what they're doing.
Literally.
Using people.
To make a point.
Messing with people's lives.
To make
transporting people somewhere else. And not even being, and just, I can't even tell you like the level of messed up. Like that's like 2 plane loads of people, bus loads of people. They're lying to. They're not setting. They're dropping them off, not setting them up. This happened. This happened a while. This happened before. Southerners drove a bunch of black folks up to the north back in the day. We'll drop these black folks off on you North people and see if you like living with them.
Also, speaking of that, let's also take in consideration that where these migrants are coming from, they're all South American and Central American, quote unquote, people of color, because we've seen how, the Ukrainian refugees, how they're treated, the welcome that they get, the Afghani, and again, nothing against them. They deserve what they're getting. But do these people from Colombia, Cuba, Guyana, Nicaragua, Panama, do they deserve what they're getting?
There you go. Bon Chapman said it best: trafficking people for political expedience. Aki Kid says how history repeats itself. Erica Fell says, so in the 60s, Texas and another southern state told black folks there were jobs up north in places like Chicago. Chicago and similar cities had no warning, but Texas and them told the press and made a spectacle of all the black people arriving with no jobs or housing. Exactly what they're doing today. Even more so, they're doing it even worse today. They're actually spending taxpayer money to fly and drive people up to these places and dropping them off. the stuff that happened in the 60s wasn't them like lying to them. They lied to them about jobs, and black folks moved on their own. They did the Great Migration on their own up to these cities to try to work, and they just showed up. These fools are dropping people off at people's doorsteps.
Man, and it's kind of sickening, man. I just read a tweet from, I believe this is Texas Governor Greg Abbott. To your point, Paul, about them not hiding it and actually leaning into it head first. It says VP Harris claims our border is secure and denies the crisis. We're sending migrants to her backyard to call on the Biden administration to do its job and secure the border.
How ridiculous is this?
It's not just ridiculous. It's criminal. It's not like it's criminal. It is exactly criminal. We have elected officials engaging in kidnapping, human trafficking, human rights violations that you can't go to the Supreme Court for. United Nations, we need to go above this country. United Nations, World Court. These are human rights violations, period.
Yeah, I'm pretty upset about this one. Moving on.
Yeah. I mean, what more can you say?
8:50 right now, if you believe in the concept of time. 10 more minutes left in the show. If you got comments, definitely throw them out. we'll definitely talk about as much as we can before we get to the haps. Yeah,
I do have one last story.
Yeah.
For the lightning round, again, we were kind of talking about in other news. We were talking about the possible strike from our trainmen and women across the country, and apparently that could be halted. Again, there's still a tentative deal on the table, but right now their negotiations are still ongoing, and we're still looking for that deal to be struck. I mean, it could be something coming across today. I mean, it could be something that has already come across.
Yeah, we actually talked about this a little bit on Friday. Biden put this thing in place to slow this thing down. So hopefully we'll get an answer today on that. But I think they struck a deal, and I think it's going to stick. So hopefully we'll see. But still better safe than sorry. Just realize that the supply chain is getting ready to get real messed up, and so
Man.
take care of getting yourself some supplies and stock up on them as much as you can, and all that good stuff. Averted for now, though. Thank God. Yep, Carolyn Jack.
Yep. But routes have already been affected. So, even if it's on a minute scale, we will see some change and some impact with this. So, yeah, as Paul said, definitely take care of yourselves. But that does it for today's stories.
Yep. Let's go ahead and get to the haps, y'all. What's the haps? What's happening? What's going down? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the haps. Time for us to talk about some things that we think you ought to be checking out and participating in. And it's time for you to let us know what's going on as well. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Buddy, you got some haps for the peoples?
Well, of course, kicking off with the thing that we've been talking about all day is going down in Lincoln. Hopefully today will be the day that Brother Ernest Jackson gets his freedom papers.
Yep.
Been locked down for a while. Again, the pardon hearing is going down at 1 p.m. in Lincoln at the State Capitol building. There will be people convening in about an hour. So if you're going to head out there, actually, you might want to be, getting ready to get on the road to get there safely. Again, they will be meeting on the north side of the building at 11 a.m. This morning, and then we'll go in and support Brother Ernest Jackson again as he meets before the pardon board. So that's the big news for the day.
You got 2 hours, buddy. Looking at his Chicago.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm looking at. Got a little more time.
Yeah, 11 o'clock north side of the Capitol is where everybody is trying to meet and rally for him. 1 o'clock is the actual hearing, so definitely go check out. And if you can support. For those of you that are going up, be safe and make sure your cameras are charged up and turn them on.
Man.
Yep.
That's definitely a good idea. Also, coming up, I'm looking for these dates specifically, but the hearings will be. Thank you. See, my man Paul. Yes, the hearings will be going down. Speaking of hearings, this week, actually today at 11 a.m. there will be a Metropolitan Community College South Omaha campus. Again, these are the public hearings for you to propose your ideas and for the board to hear what could possibly be done with the $350 million coming into North and South Omaha. Again, this is the Economic Recovery Act that we're talking about, that once in a lifetime investment coming to North to South Omaha. Again, this is your opportunity to be at the board, or be at the table. So all week there will be hearings. Again, today is the first one. Tomorrow there will be another one at the South Omaha campus in room 120, and then on Wednesday, there will be a meeting at the TAC building. That's at 5 p.m. And then also again on Thursday, we'll be at the Swanson Conference Center. That's on 30th Street, room 201. I believe that's at the Fort Omaha Metro campus.
Yep. Let's try to make as many of these meetings as we can. Speak out, get your voice heard on that for sure.
Man, definitely.
Also in the Friends of First Sky Omaha and also behind the scenes too, I've been getting this flyer right here. Juanita Johnson is 6 o'clock today. This is also another 19th.
It's a busy day.
That's right, 6 o'clock. Come and let's stand together. Objective 5 projects. So we'll see what Miss Juanita Johnson, puts the respect on her name, has to say. 2222 Benny Street. Check it out at Heart Ministry Center right there at 6 o'clock today, and have some discussion with her. She's going to be there in person. Miss Juanita, City Council member Miss Juanita Johnson, puts respect on her name, hosting this. Going to talk about these objectives of these 5 projects. So be good to find out what's going on there. Like to hear more about that. Let us know if you happen to make that, and we can talk about that when it comes up as well. That's what's going on. Something else is happening today on the 19th, 3 o'clock. Friend of First Sky Omaha, Derek Higgins. Lots of musical history there, man. Bassist and composer. He's going to be talking at the UNO Music Technology, the guest lecture series. If you happen to be there, you can go register there. You see the bit.ly address there, UNO-Higgins. Register for that and go check it out. I believe it's a free event, and have him talk about everything music like this brother does. So shout out to Derek Higgins for that today at UNO. It's going to be at 3 o'clock, and you can check it out. School of Music will be hosting Mr. Derek Higgins. We really appreciate him for all his musical history and everything that he does as well. Also, before we get out, before we get out of here too, just want to make sure that you guys remember AfroCon is happening October 8th. That's coming up, and we're letting you know early so you can get your costume together. You know, they cosplay here. This is as a matter of fact, this is a flyer that I like that they put up.
Man, good old time.
It's going down. The House of Afro Capes and Curls presents AfroCon Omaha. It's happening at Metropolitan Community College on October the 8th. I love the way the multiverse of blackness is what the theme is this year. So definitely check that out and get your costumes ready for that. If you know, then you know. Check
it's a good time. It's a good time. Also, though, it is a busy day. So, again, something else happening today, something that we've been talking about a lot here on the show. The Douglas County Board of Commissioners will have their town hall meetings on the mental health facilities. Again, many mental health facilities being proposed in the community, but is that exactly what we need? So this is your opportunity to speak up and speak out. There will be a meeting today from 6 to 7:30 from Metropolitan Community College. That's the South Omaha campus. Again, South Omaha campus of Metro today. And then there will also be two other ones in October on the 4th and the 18th. So again, if you want to join this community or join this conversation and allow those from the community to have their voices be heard, again, hopefully you'll come and speak up.
That's what's up. Town hall meetings in effect. I'm going to jump into the chat real quick because there's a couple things. Augie Kid says, for those who would like to support the family of Jaden, the 14-year-old boy that was recently beaten by the police while in handcuffs, please see below. There will be a meeting held this Monday, September 19th at 7 o'clock. The Essential Gathering Place, lower level 5001 North 42nd Street in Omaha. The family asked for peace and support. Big day today for sure. Also, let's see. Wanda Lewis says, if you're coming to City Councilwoman Juanita Johnson's meeting, bring your business cards. That's what's up. Also, she says, we'll also speak on the ARPA app, which is uploaded and available today. Did not know about this one. There's an ARPA app. Okay, it's uploaded and available today. That's definitely a haps. We need to see what's going on with that for real. The application is deadline is October 9th, 2022 in 20 days. So the application, I'm assuming you're talking about if you're a business and you're trying to apply for some of those ARPA funds, and it's going to be due October 9th coming up. Okay, so check that out. We'll try to find more information on that and put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha. I think she said earlier that my inbox, she had sent some stuff to my inbox. So we'll definitely try to put some of that up. And I got to look into this ARPA app. Didn't know it existed. Interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Let's see what's up.
Yeah, man.
Okay, well, there you go. So right now, and I'm going to go ahead and throw one more in here too. Very important event that's happening at Benson Theater. KIOS is going to do a talk with Chip Davis, who is the namesake of the Benson Theater. If you don't know who Chip Davis is, he's the guy who's responsible for Mannheim Steamroller, which is one of the biggest shows out of Nebraska in the U.S., as a matter of fact. It's been going on for a long, long time. And he's also just a very interesting cat, man, innovator of a lot of musical technologies and things that we use nowadays, surround sound stuff and all kinds of things. There's a lot for him to talk about. He's also provided hooked up with NASA and has got some music going up in the space and all kinds of stuff. So,
man,
definitely, yeah, really interesting dude. The more I learn about him, the more I'm just like, man, this dude did a lot. Put Omaha on the map in a big way. So, shout out to Chip Davis. He's going to be speaking with the guys from Riverside Chat over there on KIOS, our partners at KIOS. It's happening with our partners at the Benson Theater. I love it when the partners come together. 6 p.m. Saturday on the 24th at the Benson Theater. Definitely check out Chip Davis. If you guys want tickets, you know what it is. If it's at Benson Theater, you can hit me up, and I will have some ability to get you some free tickets, some comps to come and check out any show that's happening there. That is what you get for being a friend of First Sky Omaha. And of course, the supporters of Friends of First Sky Omaha, the ones that are doing reoccurring memberships, get first dibs on all those. So appreciate you very much for considering supporting all of our people, all of our what's the word I'm thinking of? Our partners, and everybody involved with making this show happen. Really appreciate that. Wanda Lewis says, "Oh, well, also okay." She's talking about this. I'm still stuck on this app. I'm like, I didn't know it was an ARPA fund. There was an ARPA app. I gotta find out what's up there. This keeps jumping.
Yeah. If you have a link, drop that in the chat. And also reminding the people that we're 50 days away from the election too. So make sure you're getting up on your voting and make sure you're registered. Make sure you're looking out for your vote by mail if you requested that. And also shout out to Sister Snipes posting on Friends of the mailers and the information cards are available as well.
Most definitely. We'll see Sister Snipes and also Precious McKesson on next Wednesday. The show coming up, Women's Wednesday, happening right here this week. Friends of First Sky Omaha. There's going to be some information there on all of that. You can send. We're going to put a new schedule up on Friends of First Sky Omaha that talks about what it is that we're doing there. So shout out to the ladies that are going to be here with us on Wednesday and talk about some more of these things in the time frames coming up for voting. And we'll have some of the dates and stuff like that on Friends of First Sky Omaha as well. We'll be pushing dates a lot. If there's any other candidates that you'd like to know and hear from, again, let us know. I definitely personally want to shout out to Senator Carol Blood, put some respect on her name. Like to speak to her again. Tony Vargas's camp reached out to us saying that he wanted to come on again. He loves our chat chimers and wants to be able to talk to you guys one more time. And that just made me think, if you guys have any other candidates that you want to get to know from any side of the aisle, let us know. We'll definitely reach out, bring them on, and talk a little bit more about them. If you're supporting a candidate, let us know as well, and we can go ahead and try to bring them on too, since we're coming in that season of the ballot and the bullet. We're here, so it is what it is. With that said, we're gonna get out of here, buddy. You got some words for the people?
Man, as always, a big shout out, much appreciation to all the first time listeners, last time listeners, ghost listeners, the chat chimers especially, man. Without y'all, this show wouldn't be the same. So everyone letting their mind be free, letting the voice be heard. We appreciate you, but we're not just doing this for this 2 hours. We're doing this to create an informed public, to create an informed community that will go out and mobilize and do things. So again, we laid out a lot of events for today. If you can, I know life happens, but if you can make it to something that's going on today, please make sure you're out representing not just yourself but the community. So we appreciate you, we love you, we thank you as always. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on First Sky Omaha. So without further ado, Paul B.
Yo,
take it away.
Speaking of those things, Miss Erica Felt says, so much important local things happening. Thankful for this show being a platform for knowledge and growth. Drink water, wash your hands, write down where your money is going so you can also follow your own and be good to yourselves. I like that. We working on that now, writing that stuff down. Pop says, another show over the speed of light. Thank you, First Sky Squad and fam. See you Wednesday, God willing, and the creek don't rise. Feel better, Paul B. Appreciate it, Pops. Appreciate it very much. Brother Valentine says, stay safe, fam. We're going to try to do that. Most definitely. Thank you very much for all of you guys' support. Thank you, Leah Keister. I see you're thanking us from the YouTube channel. Appreciate you over there on YouTube watching us. Tell a friend, spread the word. Let's get as many voices in here as we can to really discuss these things. There's no other show, no other anything going on right now that's speaking this deeply about the topics and about the news and things that's going on in Omaha 3 days a week with this kind of extensive discussion, deep dive discussion. And it's because of you guys who are absolutely the reason why this exists and a valuable part of the conversation. We really, really appreciate you got your support. Let everybody know who you think would be a good person to speak up as well on some subjects, and bring them onto the show so we can definitely have a discussion with them too. Appreciate it. Mama God says, stay healthy and safe. Appreciate you, Mama God. Lakey says, thanks for another great show. Have a great rest of your day. You guys have a great rest of your day as well. We'll see you Wednesday for Women's Wednesday.
Hey,
have a good one. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red and the green